To celebrate the 30th anniversary of the animated classic The Lion King, Disney held a live-to-film concert at the Hollywood Bowl, which has only recently been televised and was, for the most part, phenomenal. Lebo M, Nathan Lane, Ernie Sabella, Jason Weaver, Jeremy Irons. These are just some of the people that made the magic happen back in 1994. And to see them return to these roles 30 years on is an absolute joy. Having grown up with the original film and still admiring the artistry behind it to this day. But it wouldn't be Disney without some kind of controversy, right? So how on God's earth is it that this reunion of the original cast and once in a lifetime celebration of The Lion King has been made about the Kardashians? So, The Lion King 30th Anniversary, a live-to-film concert event, was originally performed in May of 2024. When this happened, the internet exploded, but for all the wrong reasons. As the name implies, the show primarily consisted of the Lion King movie being projected onto a large screen, whilst a live orchestra performed Hans Zimmer's original score alongside it. But when it got to a musical number, the screen would cut to black and the original cast would appear on stage 30 years later. From the Disney Plus version, you'd never know this because all the orchestral parts are cut out, whilst what remains is chopped up, mixed around and over-edited to the extent that somehow a home recording by an audience member on a mobile phone is more entertaining to watch. But I digress. The show is introduced by Elton John on screen, giving some backstory on the film's production, whilst ever so briefly touching on its sequels and then drawing focus to the still ongoing Broadway adaptation. It's this version of Rafiki that performs the Nansing Gomya chant, before segueing into that of Lebo M, the guy who originated it back in '94. The crowd erupts into applause. I mention this as it sets the standard for what to expect at these kinds of shows. Lebo M's appearance garnered such a positive response because it meant something to the audience. This is followed by Jennifer Hudson's performance of Circle of Life. Now, she didn't originate the song, but my God, she can sing, which is an important detail. The fateful moment comes when Jason Weaver, the original singing voice of young Simba, introduces I Just Can't Wait to Be King. But despite being literally right there, he doesn't perform it himself. Long story short is that Kim Kardashian and Kanye West's kid comes on stage and butchers this song in front of 17,500 people. This is what prompted the show to go viral, not any of the other things I've just mentioned. Comments mention that she manages to miss every single note and has to be guided around the stage by the other performers. Whilst in recordings you can see that audience members are kind of leaning over and whispering in each other's ears like concerned parents at a school play when something's gone wrong. Of course, it's unpleasant to have to sit here and criticise a 10-year-old. But the point being that the 10-year-old should never have been put in that position in the first place. It's wrong on many levels, and the more you peel back the layers, the more shocking the whole palaver is. Northwest, that's the kid.
So powerful! So bizarrely named.
Wasn't originally supposed to have this role. According to some sources, a young boy, as you'd imagine, had already been chosen to play Simba, before being dismissed when Kim Kardashian decided that her daughter was going to be in the show. So she was going to be in the show. We'll never know exactly what was said, but insiders allege that Northwest was told that if she can carry a note, the gig is hers. The production company who filmed and butchered The Lion King at the Hollywood Bowl just so happened to also produce the Kardashians TV series. So that wouldn't have anything to do with it at all. Nepotism, by the way, this is called nepotism. The practice among those with power or influence favouring relatives, friends or associates, especially by giving them jobs. But as a result of this, the talented kids that auditioned never actually stood a chance, regardless of how good their performances were. So this whole corrupt saga has prevented new talent from ever being discovered, whilst pointing the spotlight where it's not wanted. Some people are actually defending this behaviour by saying she's just a kid, she's learning, it's her first performance, let her have fun. And yeah, that's why if the kid genuinely wants to do this, you send her to drama school or something, where you can make mistakes and develop your skills. In what world do you just rock up at the Hollywood Bowl and expect to be loved for just existing? Not to mention having sod all to do with The Lion King, but the backing dancers allege that she never even turned up for any rehearsals, whilst the garish outfit was a result of North refusing to wear the production-made Simba costume.
And with an attitude like that, I'm afraid you're shaping up to be a pretty pathetic king indeed.
So it's hard to muster any sympathy for the kid, but still at the end of the day, it's technically not her fault. Anyone with eyes and ears could tell you that she wasn't up to the role. The parents knew fine well that this was the case, and put a child in that position anyway, whilst Disney and the production company agreed to do it as a publicity stunt, knowing that it would generate articles and clicks, which is the worst part of all this. But I can't get over these news articles that try desperately to paint a completely different picture. The 10-year-old looked like a true professional as she took the stage at the Hollywood Bowl. North's acting debut appeared to go down a storm as she reportedly received a standing ovation. She didn't. This is complete fabrication. And you can see there are recordings of it, so there's no reportedly about it. And I do just wonder what these news sites have to gain from bigging up the Kardashians so much and then trying to paint normal people as aggressive internet trolls. And it's funny because clearly none of them care about the actual source material, they're just commenting on what the Kardashians are wearing and why they're so amazing and you shouldn't hate them. Like, why? I can't physically comprehend why anyone would support these people. It genuinely feels that the family are so absurdly rich and famous relative to everyone else that this was the equivalent of getting the kid a part in a school play. Except it's a leading role for one of the biggest entertainment properties in the world. They could also be seen in the audience trying to instigate a standing ovation that nobody else joined in with. Then got up and left after the kid's performance, during the middle of the show, which people have filmed of them just walking out.
You know what's crazy is I saw an article that said that North had a standing ovation, but I swear Kanye was the only person standing. He left as soon as her performance was done, and guys, when I tell you that I've never heard anything like that, it was quite the thing to witness. Here is Kim also leaving after her performance.
And from that, I'll leave you to form your own opinions on them. So not only do they rob a child of a part in this massive production, but then effectively trash said production, and then don't even have the decency to sit down and watch the rest of it. It's just the ultimate middle finger to the many fans of The Lion King that paid good money to be there, and those who would have killed to have been there. You get one chance to do something like this, and a lot of the core creatives behind The Lion King are absent in favour of what we've just witnessed. James Earl Jones was alive when this was filmed. Rob Minkoff, one of the actual directors of the film, who created the whole thing, is sat in the audience. Like, why the hell aren't you on stage? Matthew Broderick is the Lion King, as featured in this huge promotional artwork for the show. That's his character, and yet he's nowhere to be seen. Even if it was just to make an appearance and present the show, stuff like this should have been prioritized over Kardashian children and Beyonce songs. Oh yeah, because nothing says The Lion King like Spirit by Beyonce, right? Which reminds us, they cast Beyonce's daughter as Kiara in the new live action film and received similar accusations of nepotism. But it's like, why is The Lion King being targeted like this? And the saddest thing of all is that it worked. The concert was talked about more because of this, and Disney probably views that as a success. So we now live in a world where clickbait headlines are deemed more valuable than actual entertainment. And it's even worse when you compare this thought process to that behind the original film in '94. The Lion King's origins stem from a struggling B-team of Disney animators that the execs didn't believe in, which only drove them to push themselves and prove their abilities. These are the people that made the film a monumental success. But now that it's recognized as such, it's very much a case of Disney using The Lion King as a platform for the likes of Beyonce and the Kardashians, as opposed to genuine talent helping to expand upon and celebrate The Lion King. I got absolute chills as the silhouettes of Nathan Lane and Ernie Sabella, the original voices of Timon and Pumbaa, approaching 70 and 80 years old respectively, appeared on stage.
Ernie and I, we've had a long history together, so it's lovely to be working together again.
I thought we'd never sing this song together again.
They turn around to face the audience and the crowd goes mental. This is the only time that this has ever happened or is likely to ever again.
Hakuna Matata. What a wonderful phrase. Hakuna Matata. Ain't no passing grave. The fun never stops on the Serengeti.
It's a big deal, and it just means so much, which is why it's infuriating and just plain wrong to have such historic moments overshadowed by a Kardashian kid who can't sing. The parts that Nathan and Ernie improvised here got some of the biggest laughs in the whole show.
Every time that I wanted. You know, I've waited 30 years to do this.
The energy in the air is just palpable, in a complete contrast to that other performance, because this is what people came to see. Jeremy Irons, the voice of Scar, sings the entirety of Be Prepared for the first time ever. Like, beyond the original film, he's only ever reprised the role once for the Once Upon a Studio short, but at the age of 75 he proves that he is absolutely still the voice of Scar in front of a stunned crowd.
I never thought hyenas essential. They're crude and unspeakably plain.
And that's what I'd like to direct people's attention to as a much more worthy topic of discussion. These are the people that made The Lion King the success that it is today. Not Beyonce, and definitely not the Kardashians.